My mic is mute. Oh, okay, okay. Can you hear me now? Good evening. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome to the class. I can see Ovoke. I can see Blessing. I can see Solomon. Who else is in the house? Okay. Ovoke, Blessing. Can you hear me now? My mic is working now. Please indicate if you can hear me. Hello, people of God. Okay, so there are 8 participants in the class right now. I would like to know those of you who are in the house, do you mind typing? Just indicate good evening. Oluwatobiloba Michael. I can hear you. All right, that's good to know. All right, that's good to know. Oluwatobi Michael, you're welcome. Good evening. Who else is in the house? Please let me know when you join in. Just introduce yourself in the chat. Let's know who and who's in the house. Okay, there's 9 participants in the class now. I know there's Oluwatu Biloba Michael, Kane Ovoke is here, Blessing is here, Solomon is here. Who else is here? Please indicate. By the way, you'd have to subscribe to be able to chat. I'm sure you can see that already. So if you want to type your name, you need to click on the subscribe button. All right, Manuel, good evening. Judy Oshadari, all right, good evening. It's good to see you again after a very, very long time. Good evening. Olatunji Eniola, good evening. It's good to have you join us. All right, Solomon, Solomon, you can hear me loud and clear. Good. There are 10 people in the house now who has recently joined. Please introduce yourself in the chat. Let's meet you. And Mr. Alex, good evening. It's good to have you join us. Okay, I think we should start now. Shino Rodele, good evening. It's good to have you join us. Mediatrix, good evening. Jojo, good evening. All right, I guess we should start now. Um, we have about 10 people in the class. That's cool. All right, um, let's start officially. Let me share my screen. Magnific, good evening. It's good to have you finally join us. Okay. Um, yes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to class. Let's start officially. This is 8:14, 8:15 ish. Madam Jojo, good evening. Blessing, you're back. Mr. Chike Okieze, it's good to see you back here. Yes, let's commence the class. Since it's recorded, anybody who misses the class would catch up on. Yes, we'll catch up on the class at a later date. Just in case you're forgotten, my name is Damola Adenle. I'm the director of studies here at Lagos Film School, and I'm the script coach. It's been a while. It's good to see you guys again. Although I can't see your faces as usual, but it's good to know that you're here. So we started this journey a couple of months ago. We ought to have rounded off our script writing class, but thank God we're here now, um, and we're doing the needful. I appreciate your continued support. Those of you who've been, even those of you who have spoken out your mind when things were not going as expected, I appreciate all of you. Yes, thank you for your continued support thus far. All right, so this is the last lap of our class. I'm going to do a 5-10 minute review or recap of what we've done so far in the script writing class. Yeah, before we jump into the last two items we were supposed to touch that we did not, which is how to write a web series or a TV show and how to write a feature length film. Those are the two items we did not essentially cover in our previous classes. So let's start from the get go. Yeah. So earlier in the class, I told us that script writing is essentially two things. It's a content and it's a container. The content being the story you're telling, the container being the script format. I also mentioned that your script is also an instruction manual, a blueprint for the production team who will make the film. Yeah, they go through the script, they break down the script to identify the elements they need to make the film. Okay, those of you who are just joining us, please introduce yourself. Write your name in the chat box here. Let's know that you're here. It's good to have you. Okay, yeah, so back to the class. So, script. Then, as script writers, we're also called screenplay writers. Yeah, our job is to now, the job of a scriptwriter is a little complicated. It's simple yet complicated. On one hand, your ultimate goal is to write what will get made into a film, the script. Yeah. However, what you're writing is not the finished product. It is the raw material that others would use to make the film. So you cannot write as if you're writing a finished product, although in and of itself it is self-contained, but it is not a finished product as of yet. It is still largely raw material. So on one hand, you're writing a script that will be made into a film. On the other hand, you're also writing content that a producer is supposed to read and get excited by. So you're considering at least two different audiences for the material that you're writing. First audience is the producer. If the producer can't read your script and get excited, he won't even buy it in the first instance, meaning it would never even get made into a film. So you can't focus too much on the utility and the functionality of your script vis-a-vis how easy to be made into a film. But you must first consider how easy it will read to a producer who wants to get gingered to buy your script. So you're both writing a semi-novel that this producer can read and be gingered, yet you're writing an instruction manual that the production team can read and be able to make a movie out of. So it's a delicate balancing game. You need to, excuse me, you need to know exactly what it is you're doing, yeah, and be able to balance the act. Good evening, Madam Wando. If you're here, please indicate. Just type in the chat, introduce yourself. Let's know you're here. Waruka Joseph. It's good to have you join us. Good evening. Yes, so with that out of the way, let's go into some other basic things. I talked about mediums and formats. Okay, talking about film as a format, as what's it called, film in general. I broke it down into different formats. One, based on duration. Your film can either be a short film or a feature length film based on duration. I hope we can still remember this. So your film is either a short or it's a feature. If it is shorter than 40 minutes, it's a short film. If it is longer than 60 minutes, it's a feature length film. Okay? Now, when you're writing short, the shorter your short, the better it is. You don't want to write a very long short film. 20 minutes is getting a little lengthy for a short film. Aim at something much shorter. Okay? Now, based on um, medium, your film can either be a feature length film, it can be a web series, it can be a TV series, it can be an episodic series, it can be a documentary, etc. And then based on content, it can either be an animated show. I can hear you now. Okay. It can be an animated show. It can be a live action, which is a live action is a regular film that has human beings in it. Animated is your film that has cartoon characters in it, be it 2D animation or 3D animation, or it could be hybrid. That's a mixture of both. Okay. Let me see anything else I want to touch before we move forward. Then we talked about log lines, synopsis, treatments, and outlines. I'm sure we can still remember all of this. Okay. If you're just joining the class, I would appreciate if you introduce yourself. Let's know that you're with us. Yeah, just take to the chat box and type your name. All right. Please introduce yourself here. Okay. So with that out of the way, now, by the way, as I'm running through this, if you have any questions, do well to type it in the chat box. I probably would answer questions immediately now, but so that you don't forget, just type your questions in the chat box. When it's time for question and answer, or if I see that it is related to what I'm talking at, I would address it. So just keep the what's it called? The questions coming. If you have any questions concerning the class, what I'm talking about, or what we've done in times past. Okay. Um, then I spoke about how to approach a writing project, the elements of a story. First of all, I told us what the story is. The story is about someone who's trying to do something, meaning the someone is your main character. He has a goal, he's trying to do something, and an obstacle stands in his way of achieving his goal. The process of an obstacle standing in the way of your character achieving his goal is what brings forth conflict. Conflict is the lifeblood of stories. Ayo Pade Ayo, good evening. It's good to have you. Okay, so conflict is the lifeblood of stories. Other things to consider include stakes, which is consequences, urgency, and timing. I'm sure I've explained all of this in details in times past. I'm just bringing it up so that by the time we go into how to write a TV show and how to write a feature-length film, our memory is jogged concerning this whole picture. Yeah. So let me see what else. That's about it. Talked about types of conflict, internal conflict and external conflict. Four major kinds of conflict: man versus man versus self, man versus nature, and man versus society. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. To write a short film, let me gloss over that before I get here. Certain things I pointed out. and it applies across board. But when we did speak about writing a short film, I mentioned that if you should, your first consideration should be the budget. You should write something that should be easy to film, easy to make into a movie, into a film. So your first consideration should be budget. In fact, one way to look at it is this: look around you and look at things you can easily have access to and base your story off of those things. For example, you work in a supermarket, meaning it's easy for you to get access to film in a supermarket. You can write your story around the supermarket. Makes sense. Okay, so determine the budget, determine the genre, find a story, something simple, a slice of life. Okay, ensure you have just one simple conflict, your main character, one obstacle, one conflict, easy resolution, something simple and straightforward, such that it has a satisfying ending. We can see the ending of the film and be like, okay, it started from here, it progressed, and it ended here. Short films. Good. Having said all of that, I want to jump into how to write a web series or a TV show. Nobody has asked any question yet, so I'm assuming that all the grammar I'm blowing is entering. Yes or no? Yes or no? Please indicate. I want to be sure that you, so far so good, we're all on the same page. Yeah? Can somebody type yes, please? All right, Olushola Adekemi. Okay, Olushola Adekemi. Okay. Oh, that's Eniola Olatunji. Okay, okay, noted, noted. All right, let's move forward then. There is no. Oh, Madam Wando, if you're there, you will need to subscribe to the channel before you can make a comment. That's why it's not allowing you. So just click on the subscribe button and then you'll be able to drop a comment. But it's good to know that you're here. That's good enough. Moving on. So we're looking at um, writing an episodic TV show. Good. Um, Let me say this first. Hello, people of God. Let me say this first of all. Before you embark on any writing project, if you don't have something to say, don't bother writing. What did I say? If you don't have something to say, if you don't have an idea, we are following. All right, Mr. Shino Oredele, thank you. If you don't have a message, a theme, an idea, something you're trying to pass across, if you don't have something specific to say, don't attempt to write. You most likely write aimlessly and endlessly. You wouldn't know the reason why it's not gelling, but you will know there's something wrong. Okay? The first step to writing is to have something to say. I hope that is clear. The first step before you write anything is to have what? Have something specific that you want to say. For example, um, you could just go through an experience where you were scammed and you hate the experience and you want to let people know that karma is real. If you do this to people, know that something, a payday is coming. Okay, that might be what you're trying to say. That the payday is sure and it will catch up with you. Now, if you're writing a film and that is what you're trying to say, yes, that is valid. You have something to say. Or you just might want to express that love conquers all. That is something to say. When I say you must have something to say, I'm not saying it has to be gargantuan. I'm not saying it has to be complex. It can be as little as love conquers all. However, it could also be as crazy as who love help, who love help. My brother, I beg, or is it my sister now? Find my way, get money, oh, leave love alone. That might be what you have in mind to say. Yeah, but you must have something specific, something in mind that you want to say. It will guide your writing process, it will guide your thought process, it will guide what you're writing. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into how to write. So, number one, have something to say. So, if you have a TV show, so let's do a short quiz. I want you to find a TV show you've seen in recent times, whether it's a Nigerian TV show or it's a foreign TV show, and let's run through your mind. Can you pinpoint what exactly is this TV show trying to say? For example, Grey's Anatomy. If you've seen Grey's Anatomy, do you have any idea what Grey's Anatomy is about? Do you have any idea what the show is trying to say? By the way, each season might be saying something different. Yeah. So whether it's the season, whether it's the TV show as a whole, can anybody tell me what you think that Grey's Anatomy is trying to say? Anybody? Anybody? Now, while I'm specific about Grey's Anatomy, I also want you to cast your mind back and figure out any series you've seen, any TV series, and try to figure out what exactly was that TV show about. What was it trying to say? By the way, the word for what this show is trying to say is the theme, the message, the idea of the series. So I'm waiting. Either for Grey's Anatomy or any other show that you know. Yeah, I want to see if we can tally a show and the theme of the show, what the show is trying to say. If we no type, we no leave here. Oh. I'm waiting for somebody to respond, at least one person. The question is, what is the theme of um, Grey's Anatomy? Okay, how doctors juggle their personal life with work life. Essentially, yes. Essentially, that is what Grey's Anatomy is about. You could find some other philosophical angle to it, but this is essentially what Grey's Anatomy is about. How doctors juggle their personal life with work life. And it can get very twisted, very complicated, very fast. Beautiful. That was let me go and trace your name. Go, 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 go. I keep forgetting. Hey. Okay, Olatunji Eniola. Okay. For Skinny Girl in Transit, I think it's about family life, togetherness, and how they try to overcome some struggles as a family and individually. Okay. The Luminous Brief, thank you for contributing. How to get away with murder. Grey's Anatomy shows us the empathy behind the medical job. Okay. That's one way to look at it. Bisola Doherty. Yeah. Judy, how to get away with murder. You only stated the name of the show, but not the theme of the show. Although I'm guessing the name of the show is also the same as the theme of the show, I guess. But we'll get the general idea of where I'm taking all of us to, yeah? stressful lives in an ER. Okay, yeah, which is still how doctors juggle their personal life with their work life. It shows the stressful side of their lives. Beautiful. So this is to let you see and let you know that all of these shows that we see, they are actually saying something to us. They are preaching something at us. Most times we might not know it, but that is essentially what it is doing. That is why it is called mass media. Good. So before you put pen to paper to write anything, make up your mind what it is you're trying to say, good or evil. It is not my business whether what you're trying to say makes sense or doesn't make sense, if it is good or if it is not good, your headache. But you make up your mind exactly what it is you want to say. For example, somebody could do a web series around um, domestic violence, to preach against domestic violence and show the cruelty of some men towards their wives. Now, some other person might approach that same subject matter from a different point of view and show that women are actually, don't let me put it that way so that I'm not cancelled, that women could also be culprits, because hardly would you find a man who will beat his wife for no reason except he's mad. Okay? So while a man should have control over his feelings and emotions, but should you, as the wife, intentionally push his buttons, that might be somebody else's take on a show. Like, sure, a man should have control over his emotions, but should you, as the woman, intentionally push his buttons? Do you know that's something to say also? Someone could address it from that angle. Okay? Magnific. I haven't seen Grey's Anatomy, but watching Special Victims Unit, it shows the challenges people go through, whether manipulation or murder, along with showing how the case can be tackled by detectives. Okay, that's Special Victims Unit. Okay, noted. I've not seen the show, so but I'll go with um, what you have deduced as what the show is about. All right, so let's move forward from here now. We kind of get the general idea. You should have something specific you want to say. Now, having done that, the next thing you should do, two other items you should do before you come to developing the concept and the premise is number two, of course, come up with a budget. You should always write with a budget in mind. For example, the budget that will be required to write a political drama, a high stake political drama, will be different from the budget you will need to write a village setting love based drama. Can you see how totally different the two of them are? The village one, you can just carry your people, go inside one local government, you find a slum and shoot village setting there. But to shoot a politically highly charged political show, you need jeeps, you need armored vehicles, you need policemen, you need mansions, you need while as in wahoo. Okay, so budget also determines if this material you're writing will finally make it to the screen, or people will just read it, laugh and throw it away that you're not serious. And you don't want to, especially in the early stages when you are a budding writer, you don't want to write scripts that are not producible because of the budget. You want to write stuff that can meet almost any budget level, because the more scripts of yours that is produced, the higher you can rise on the ladder. So the cheaper it is to produce your scripts, the better for you. So don't overdream, don't overshoot. You get it? All right. So having determined the theme of your show, determined the budget, at least the range for the budget, you should also determine the audience, the intended audience, and the genre. A medical drama is different from a procedural, a police procedural, different from a love story, romance, different from epic, different from legal drama, different from your regular K drama romance story, different from some thriller, horror, psychological horror, drama, etc. They vary. And the audiences for each of these also varies. Okay, so determine what you want to say, fame, determine the budget, determine the genre, and finally the audience that you're writing for. The audience you're writing for is what will determine if me, as a producer, I will buy what you bring. Let me give you an example. If you walk up to this guy today, Bello Salami, and you say you have a script that you want to sell, and it's a police and thief shooting dagbaga kind of film, do you think he will buy it? The answer is no. He would not. Because right now he has discovered a niche and he has decided to settle down with that niche. Epic Yoruba stories. If you go with him with anything in that direction, he will lap it up. So, understanding the producer you intend to sell your script to, the genre they make, the kind of films they make would also help you to sell your script. If you write what I don't make, I will not buy. Simple. I'm not buying to please you. I'm not buying your script because I'm looking at your face. I'm not buying your scripts to make you happy. I'm buying it because it meets my own needs. Your utility, your function is only as good as when it overlaps with what I desire and what I want. Even the Bible says, unless two agree, can they walk together? Shay. So it is only when what the producer is looking for overlaps with what you are bringing, that is when they buy your script. So this thing, you know that I'm not so focused, I've not gotten into the technical part of how to write. Why? Because the technical part is the easiest part. The reason why most writers stay on the same spot is because they've not mastered the business side of writing. And that is what I'm hammering in our ears this evening, especially today being our last class. You need to take care of the business side of writing. And what is the key to the business side of writing? Making sure that who you're pitching your script to is somebody who can buy the material you're pitching. How? Knowing and determining what they want. Don't write what you want. See, all of that, and find something you're passionate about and write on it. And find something you know a lot about and write on it. That is advice for writers who will go broke. Except you want to go broke as a writer, that is when you will take such advices. Does advice has plural? Either ways. Having said that, the key is make a list. So hear this now. Hear this. The key to selling your script is number one, make a list of 5 to 10 producers who you want to pitch your script to. Make a list of 5 films that each of those 10 producers have made. That is you extrapolating to discover what kind of films they make. Then write exactly what they have done before. Just make it a little different. Give them the same, only a little different. For example, I don't know the guy who made Brotherhood, but I'm sure his next film would also be something very similar to Brotherhood. I don't know the person who made Madame Koi Koi, but if you go and check, their next set of films will be something that looks like Madame Koi Koi, and the list goes on and on. If you see somebody who made Jagun Jagun, the next thing he will make will be something similar to Jagun Jagun. You'll be kidding yourself if you go to meet somebody who made Jagun Jagun and you want to send a script that looks like Brotherhood to him. He will not buy. Are we on the same page, people of God? How do you meet this yourself? Give me a second. Where was I? Sorry about that. So I said number one, make a list of 5 to 10 producers you wish to sell your material to. Number two, find out at least 5 films each of them has made. Okay, and use that to judge what kind of material they make and write something similar to that material and send to them. Full stop. Don't come up with your own idea. Nobody needs your originality. Okay, it's not the usual me that you see today that you are seeing today. Oh. Not the usual me that you've seen before. This is brutal me now. We've come to brutal places. All of the has ended. Now I'm talking to you, writer to writer, and I'm giving you hard advice as to how to proceed on this place because this is our last class. After today, I consider you guys as script writers. You are in the script market and you want to make money from writing. Yes, so that is why. Nobody gives a about your passion, what you like writing about, but nobody cares. Wait, wait. The bus you took this evening, were you considering if the driver will buy Indomie with the money? Were you like, and this guy would like to eat Indomie. Let me give him this money to go and buy Indomie. That's what you were considering when you paid him for the transport fare, Shibi. You don't care. You don't care if he eats Indomie, if he drinks shisha, if he smokes cigar, none of your business. The only reason why you're giving him money is because he's going where you're going to. The direction you're going to is the same direction he's going to. He's offering the service, he's taking you there, you're offering money, you're paying him. As long as his goals and his destination does not align with yours, you're not going with him, you're not taking his bus, you're not paying him. Same with you as a writer. Whatever you write, no matter how beautiful it is, as long as it does not align with what that producer wants to produce, you've wasted your time. Oh, it's beautiful. Who cares? Okay, Mr. Alex is asking, am I encouraging you to continue in the tone of Nigerian movies? No. I am not encouraging you to continue in the tone of Nigerian movies. But you cannot write a Korean movie and send it to a Nigerian producer. Yes or yes? Hello, somebody. Mr. Alex, can you write a Korean film and send it to a Nigerian producer? Okay. So, um, exactly. It's how do I put this now? I think the word is conundrum. It's a conundrum, but we have to find a way to make the best out of the situation we're in. Now, when I said me, I have trained you, I've showed you how to write, um, how to not write scripts that suck. Mr. Chike, which one are you answering yes to? My last question was, can you write a Korean film and send it to a Nigerian producer? Is that what you were answering yes to? Please clarify, let me know. So yes, back to what I was saying. Um, you now know how to properly write well-made, well-written scripts. You can take any subject matter and tackle it. I'm saying you're not writing for yourself. You're not writing subject matters that interest you. You're writing subject matters that interest the producer. I'm not saying you write exactly the same garbage they make. I'm saying use your expertise and what you now know to write for that subject matter. The content, right? What is in contention right now is the subject matter, not the expertise, not how well you write. It is the subject matter. Are we on the same page? So, as it concerns the subject matter you will write about, nobody cares about your passion. That's the point I'm making. You must make sure that you align with the passion and what the producer is interested in, subject matter. You now apply your professionalism, what you know to do, apply that to that subject matter. Do we get it now? Okay. So have that at the back of your mind. You're not writing for yourself. You're writing for a buyer. And he who pays the piper dictates the tune. These are hard truths for writers because writers are known to be very, very sentimental about the material that they write. Today, I need you to carry scissors. Babatunde Adeniro, it's good to have you. Today, I need you to carry a scissors and take that umbilical cord between you and the material you write and cut it. What did I say? Cut the umbilical cord between you and the material that you write. You don't find a driver say, the way I drove that bus yesterday, they are not, a driver is not too fixated on how he drove and what he drove, or the car he drove. Is a driver. You're a writer. Separate yourself from the material you write. You're not one and the same. Am I speaking to somebody? I wish this was Zoom. I would have said all of you open your cameras. Fortunately and unfortunately, this is YouTube. Because I would have loved to see your faces. Because I know a lot of people will be squeezing their faces right now. But learn to separate yourself from the material that you write. You are not what you write. You are bigger than what you write. The last stuff you wrote, hey, English. The last stuff you wrote is the worst stuff you will write, amen. Such that the next stuff you will write will be way better than the last stuff you wrote. That is how you should approach this thing. So you've written it, Jadano, and then let it have a life of its own. Do you understand? Okay, so enough of motivational, whatever we call this one now. But I hope you get the idea though. And you approach selling yourself and selling your material differently from today going forward. That is my hope. Okay? If there's anybody who's in the group, please introduce yourself. If you just newly joined us, let's welcome you. Let's say hi to you. Take to the chat. Just type your name. Let's know you're here. If you're finding it difficult, that means you will need to click on the subscribe button to subscribe and let us know that you're here. All right, moving forward. By the time we get all of that out of the way, let's now get to the practical part of writing an episodic TV show. So, of course, the first thing you want to do is to develop the concept and the premise. Of course, we've settled theme, we've settled budget, we've settled genre and audience. Yeah? Okay, so now we come to concept and premise. What is the premise of your show? The premise of your show could be, for example, the premise of season 1 of Grey's Anatomy, if I'm correct, is that they were just done with medical school and they were coming in as interns. They were not even full-fledged doctors in season 1 of Grey's Anatomy. They were still interns. Okay, so it was a day in the life of a interning medical student, so to speak. That was the premise of Grey's Anatomy. Okay, yeah. So have a premise, yeah. The concept, define the core idea or premise of your show. What is it about? Genre, determine the genre. Is it drama? Is it comedy? Is it science fiction? Is it fantasy? And then what is the unique selling point of your show? Identify what makes your show unique. Yeah? Identify what makes your show unique. It could be how do I put it now? I'm not trying to be vulgar, but imagine doing a medical show. Now, if you do in the US, if you do a medical show, it will be purely about the medical practice, the doctors, etc. If you go and check, I don't know if there's any Nigerian medical show that exists. If there is, go and check. Half of the show will be about Big Yash of the nurses, just in case there is, if it exists. Anyways, we could say that is their unique selling point. Good evening, Amaka. It's good to have you. Thank you very much for joining us. Babatunde Adeniro, you laughed. Hey, it is what it is. Okay, but either ways, you should find your own unique take and your unique angle on this writing thing. Okay, there's nothing stopping you from doing what others have done before. For example, um, I've not seen Jagun Jagun. I've not seen any of these major Yoruba epic shows that they've been making of late, but I'm sure they are all essentially the same thing. um, olden days Yoruba setting. It would have some love story, some warrior story, one thing, one thing, one thing. But here is the drift. Each individual will find a way to tell that same story and make it unique and make it their own story. And that is the beautiful side of it. How many times have you seen a story based on King Arthur or his dragons, or Camelot, or Lancelot? Plenty. How many times have you seen a film made on Cinderella? Uncountable. But you still go to watch each of those films. Why? Because each teller of the story adds their own unique spin on the story. And that's your unique selling point. Let's go to number two, create the world and the setting. For TV series, especially, world building is essentially important. It is importantly essential. Whatever. Me and English this evening. Okay? Establish the setting of your show. Is it set in the real world? Is it set in a fictional world, or a blend of both? And then what are the rules of the world? Define any specific rules or norms that governs the world, especially if it's a fantasy or sci-fi setting. I'll give you a practical example, because this world building thing, it sounds, what are they talking? Gone. Good. I'll give you a practical example that will permanently let it sink what we mean about world building. Who knows macaroni? Freaky, freaky. You are doing well. Oi. I just painted his world for you. The moment I mentioned that name, if you know macaroni and his kids, you know the world he lives in. What world? There is Momiwa, and there's always one babe he will meet in some crazy situation. And the first thing he wants to do is impress the babe. And he will transfer money and he would toast his fingers. Now, on the surface, it's like, okay, what is the world there? But the world is this. He always finds a way to meet these ladies in some crazy setting or scenario. That is the world. The world is the place and the time where your story happens. Tayo Olani, good evening. Are you just joining us? If you are, good to have you. Thank you for joining us. So the world, the physical setting of the place where the story happens, and the time, 1970, 2020, 1842, those two things is what determines the world of your story. Okay, if it is a real world situation, you don't need to do much world building. We understand as it go. For example, if your setting is Nigeria, Lagos, and we see policemen stop a car, do you understand what the policemen are stopping the car for? Yes or no? Yes, you do. There is little or no need for world building. Excuse me. However, if that film is intended for a US audience, you will need to do a bit of explanation for them to understand the corrupt practices of the Nigerian police, which makes it normal for you to expect that when they stop a vehicle, the oga, anything for the boys is what they are asking. So in that scenario, you'd have to do what we call world building, which is putting your characters in specific situations that explains how that world behaves. For example, you're doing a vampire film for a Nigerian audience. Now, you can say that Nigerians should naturally know vampires, but you also know that there are some people in Nigeria who have not watched any vampire film, or it doesn't make sense to them, and they don't understand what vampires are, etc. So, if you're making a film about vampires, by the way, I'm making a vampire film very soon. So, if you're making a film about vampires, you need to do some measure of world building. Put your character in a situation where somebody is beaten by a vampire on the neck and the person transforms into a vampire. Or you show that sun, one of the rules of the world of vampires is that they can't stand the sun. The sun destroys vampires. So put certain vampires in a situation where they are exposed to the sun and we see the sun literally turn them to ash. Now, we as the audience, we understand sun, vampire, don't mix, world building. Is somebody getting what I am saying? So that is you explaining the rules of the world without using your mouth and preaching it. You put your characters in situations where stuff happens to them that explains to us, the audience, the rules of the world that you're building. And again, you don't always need world building, especially if the world you're using is the world we're used to. You need world building if what you're setting up is totally different and alien from what we know and what we expect. Are we clear? Let's go to developing characters. So, number three, develop characters. Yeah. And we're here. Main characters, supporting characters, and character relationships. So, of course, you would have a main character, the lead actor, lead actress, supporting actress. Yeah, create detailed profiles for your main characters. Okay, this is where the character Bible comes into place. I don't know if you've heard of character Bible before now. Yeah, a character Bible is one that describes all the attributes of your main characters. Yeah, name. I think we've done this in class. Character description. Okay, you try to fix in the name, age, sex. Sex and gender is the same thing. Name, age, sex, social status, financial status, if he has a job, what they do, etc. Then you also go a step forward and you tell us about their behavior and their characteristics. Somebody who is driven by ego, easily pushed to misbehave, or it could be a what's the word I'm looking for now? Somebody who's laid back and doesn't send, okay, until something happens to him and so, so, and so, and so. So you want to write a detailed character Bible for your characters. Each of your main characters. By the way, you also know that a TV show would have way more characters than a film would do. In a film, you can have just two, three, or four main characters. In a series, you can have as much as seven main characters because there will be more than one story running parallel or side by side in the series. So you have some of them will be main characters, some of them will be supporting characters, and some of them will be relationships that characters have, either within themselves or with others outside of the story. Okay. Number four, outline the series arc. The keyword here being the arc. What is the arc? Okay, so let's look at overall story arc. Plan the overarching plot of the series, including major events and turning points. So your series is supposed to be a container that contains containers. Let me explain. Each episode is supposed to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's supposed to have conflicts and the conflict resolved by the end of the series of that episode. That's a self-contained episode. Yes? A season also behaves like an episode. In every season, there will be a beginning, a middle, and an end. There will be obstacles and there will be conflicts. Just as your character solved the problem in this episode, there will be a major problem in solving across multiple episodes that lasts in for the whole of the season. Am I speaking to somebody? Okay, I think sugar comes to mind. Season whatever, the sugar that was made in Nigeria. That sounds bad. Anyways, I can't remember most of it, but I remember one of the lines where there was this girl, this this Fapsin girl, the character she played in the film, in the series. I think she was dating somebody and then she slept with this other guy, and then she discovered that the allergy she's been sleeping with has HIV. So she goes to meet the guy that they should go for tests. Oh, okay, I think I remember. She, the Mr. Man, is dating her friend, if I'm correct. So she sleeps with her friend's boyfriend and discovers that the allergy she's been sleeping with has HIV. So she goes to the guy she sleeps with and like we should go and do tests. And she's insisting that he should tell his girlfriend that she should also go for testing. Why? Because there's a possibility that so question is how do you tell your girlfriend that you should go for HIV and possibly the person who gave you HIV is her friend? You know there's casala on the table that will take more than one episode to resolve. Okay, all of that, all of the story I just told now happened over multiple episodes. Each episode has its own conflict, and then the series as a whole had its own conflict. Please, if what I just said, if you get it, because I just explained the lifeblood of a series to you. That is what we mean when we say you're writing a series. Let's leave all the grammar that we are blowing. The season and an episode are synonymous. Did you get all the grammar I just blew? Please type yes if you get it. No if you don't, so that we know what we're doing. There are 18 people in this class. I think I know only 10 out of you. Some 8 of you have not introduced yourself. Please do. But for the rest of us who are in the class, yeah, indicate if you know, if you understand what I just explained by the way of the relationship between an episode of a series and the season, a complete season and a complete episode. Is there anybody in this class? Bisola Doherty, no. Okay. Let me get more feedback. So I know Jomez, no. Okay. Who else is responding? Luminous, not yet. My network is unstable. Okay. Judy, no, sir. Okay. Let me roll my sleeves. Isheya, magnific, no. Okay. Oh, this is Judith. All right, Judith, it's good to have you. Now I know that this is you. Been a while. All right, so the number of notes I have is enough for me to start again. All right. Let me drink some water. The preparation of Ogagon. Okay, I'm seeing some yes. Okay. It's okay if there are no's, but as long as there are some yeses, that means I wasn't yarning dust. Good. So let's try again. I need everybody's attention now. So, in one episode, let me run through a possible episode in a TV series. Okay? So you have Femi and Shadi, they are dating. Shade goes to work. When she gets back from work, she notices that something is off about Femi. And she starts searching the house like, what is going on? Obviously, Femi smuggled a baby into the house. Jobless Femi. His wife is working. She goes to work. He sits down at home and is still smuggling baby. Okay? And the main tension that created suspense, which is the conflict that they are resolving in that episode, is if Shade will catch the babe that Femi brought to the house. And we go through a lot of rigmarole, and eventually Femi found a way to what's the English now? To smuggle the girl out without Shade seeing her. Shade, she suspects that something is wrong, but she no catch am for here. This is where she caught him, so that he can do like this and is free. Good. So many other things happened in that episode, but that was the main story that we followed in the episode. Shade going to work, Shade coming back, Shade realizing something is off, Shade challenging Femi, Femi acting shifty, Shade going around the house, Femi planning a way for the other girl to escape. I'm like, what? What? Nothing is wrong. And then finally, the girl escaped. That is the main conflict for that episode. We get that one, yes? Good. Just as that episode had its main conflict, the main tension, the main suspense that we were following, and we wanted to see how is it going to end. The same way, a complete season also has its own suspense and conflict and tension that we are following. For example, Femi is our main guy. Yeah? And the problem, Femi starts off as a useless house husband, for lack of a better word. Not housewife, house husband. Okay? And over the progression of the 12 episodes, the 10 episodes rather, that makes season one, it came to a point where the shit where they chop help him to get sense, and he decided to do something about his situation, and he cleaned up his act such that by the end of season one, meaning by episode 9, he has gotten a job and has started behaving properly. By episode 10, he's now a responsible human being. At the beginning, where was he? Stupid, silly house husband, misbehaving up and down. Most likely the girl that is smuggled into the house is the housemaid of the next door neighbor, or their housemaid is the one is smuggled inside when his wife went to work. Okay, but we see the progression, the obstacles he has. Number one, good for nothing guy. Number two, it comes to a place where he got his brain reset and he's like, let me do something serious with my life. But when he decides to do something with his life, he has obstacles on the way that now doesn't want him to move forward. He overcomes all of those obstacles, and by the end of season episode 10, he has straightened out. Do you see how that also sounds like it's one episode? However, it is one whole season. The story I just told now sounds like it is just one episode. However, it is one whole season. That is what I mean by your series is the container that contains containers. The same way a series operates, sorry, the same way an episode operates is the same way a season or maybe even the whole series operates. Are we getting this now? Blessing, where did your no come from? I've not even asked the question before you type the answer. I'm sure your no is not to my question. Mr. Alex, yes, okay. Mr. Alex has gotten it. Okay, Jomez, I get it now. Magnific, okay. Judy or Shadari, do you get it now? I want those of you who said no before, I want to know if it is still no or if it is now a yes. Bisola Duarte, will you marry? Sorry, not will you marry me? No, that's not the question. Do you get it now? Yes or no? I don't even know what Bisola looks like. Hold on. Wait. Is it the same Bisola? Our Bisola? Jesus. Can I see? I can't see the preview picture. It is well. Anyways, let's come back to class. Bisola Dohati, Jomez said he has gotten it now. Judith, do you get it now? Please respond so I know how far. Who else said no? Judy or Shadari. Magnific said no before. She has said yes now. Okay. So the rest of you who said no, please let me know in the comment section if you now get what it is we're talking about. So that is the lifeblood of a series. You start. This is how you start. You Magnific. I just linked it to season 3 of Bridgerton. I understand it now. Okay. All right. That's good. So practical now. You want to write a web series. Start by identifying the genre you want to write. Okay. Is most times it will be a drama. Okay. And then determine the themes you want to address. You've done that. Beautiful. Then create your characters. Judy, good to know. Then create your characters. Fine. Now you want to plot a arc for your characters. Just like I did for Femi now, you want to do something similar. Let's say your series has 5 main characters. You want to plot an arc for each of your 5 characters. So Judy, Femi, for example, starts as a useless husband, but by episode 10, he has transformed and cleaned up and is now a responsible man. Okay. Shade starts out as a loving wife, dedicated to her husband, even though he does not have a job. But his actions has gotten her to start mistrusting him and men in general, such that her mistrust, she carries it to the office. She does not trust her boss. It gets her fired. That is her own arc. Are we following this? I've just told us the arc of 2 out of our 5 main characters. Okay? Then the housemaid, the one that Femi smuggled. She starts out as an housemaid. She starts getting toyed with by Femi. But Femi, even in his craziness, asks some basic questions. So, what's your highest level of education? Do you plan to further more? Don't you think you should do one thing? And the girl gets gingered. Okay, she's a little older, like she's like 23, 24, but she's now gingered to go back to school. She steals her madam's money and she uses that to buy form for Open University. She gets caught and she gets sent out of the house. Yeah, but she has gotten admission to Open University. That is where her own arc ends. She starts as a housemaid who does not have any plan for the future. She meets this guy who is sleeping with her, but the guy also gingers her. She has come to a place of, I think I want to do something with my life. She wants to go to a university, Open University. She has now chosen to go. She steals her madam's money. She buys the form. They discover she has stolen money and they send her out because of it. But now she now has a sense of purpose. She's on the streets, but she has a sense of purpose. Are you seeing what can happen in season 2 already? That is how to write a series. You write it such that even before you start writing, you know everything that will happen from beginning to the end. You have planned Femi's journey. Maybe I should stop using the word arc and use the word journey. But you get what it is I'm saying. Plan Femi's journey for the season. Plan Shade, his wife's journey for the season. The housemaid, plan her journey for the season. We know the beginning, we know the middle, where she changes, we know the ending. Do that for all of your characters. Now you know what you have. Now, the ending should also be cliffhanger endings. something that will make us want to see what will happen in season 2. You've gotten all that? Fine. Now come back to the beginning and find a way to break all of that. Is this class recorded? Yes, that's why I'm doing it on YouTube. So the moment class finishes, you can immediately rewatch it. Back to what I was saying. So you go back to the beginning, having broken it down that way, having drawn the journey, the arc for all of the characters, then you go back to the beginning and you're like, okay, I know what Femi needs to do over 10 episodes. How do I break it such that he does this bit in episode 1, he does this bit in episode 2, this bit in episode 3, all the way to episode 10. So episode 1, let me help us with it. Episode 1, we seed the what's the word I'm looking for? The debased level, how debased and silly in his mind Femi can be as a husband. Like when we first meet Femi, the first season, the first episode of season 1, we see a useless, irresponsible, God-forsaken man, Femi. Episode 2, we see even worse. Ashe is even sleeping with the maid from the next house. We hate him even more. We see that his wife is the one slaving to feed the family and is not even taking up any responsibility and is still sleeping with girls around. Episode 3, somebody shows Femi Shege, but that Shege is not enough for him to think about his life. Episode 4, Femi is still about his regular self, gets himself into more trouble that the wife is the one that has to come and bail him out of that trouble. And he's still making mouth, even though he's just coming out of police detention. Episode 5, I don't know what happens, but by episode 7, something catastrophic happens. Maybe he nearly loses his life. Maybe one thing, and it gets him to sit on the floor and think about his life. Like, I can't continue this way. So he has a turning point. Episode 8, we start seeing changes in Femi. By episode 9, he starts applying to jobs, he starts doing this, he starts doing that. By the end of episode 9, the job was about to get something getting. Okay, so we can shift it back. There was supposed to be an obstacle. So episode 6 and 7, where I know Sabi will shift it back. So episode 8 is when he goes to apply for the job. He gets obstacles in the way. Episode 9, another obstacle, he surmounts it, and then finally he gets a job. By episode 10, we see him buy something for his wife for the first time, and she shed a tear of shit. Like, she's so happy that for the first time in their married life, her husband is buying her a gift. It's something small, but she appreciates it. But it's bittersweet for her. Remember, she just got fired in episode 10. Why? Her mistrust for men as a result of her husband misbehaving has gotten her to mistrust and misbehave at work. She has gotten fired. Are we getting this whole what's it called now? Magnific. So an arc can go from good to bad. Yes, sure. An arc is change. Change can be for the better or it can be for the worse. That's what an arc is. So yeah, that's the general idea. I've forsaken this, all the grammar I wrote in the notes. I'm just like attacking it like head on how this thing works. So I hope you get the picture. So we plotted the arc or the journey of Femi and Sade and this other girl, the housemaid. Now I've helped us break it down episode by episode, what Femi does in each episode. Now you take each episode. Now you know what Femi does in each episode. You are now planning out specific scenarios that he goes through in that episode. You know what is supposed to happen in that episode. You are now just working out the specific plots, the specific things, situations that happens for that outcome to come up. Bam! And you have a series on your hands. Please give me a round of applause. Clap from your house. Let me hear it here. If they ask you why are you clapping, tell them it's your guy that his head is there. Or yeah, one there. Okay. But I'm sure it is very, very clear now to us how to approach writing a series, whether it's a web series, a TV series. You now know how to approach, break it down for the whole season, each character, their character arc and journey, and how to break it down into specific episodes. Good. 9:25. Any questions concerning how to write a web series before we move to how to write a feature length film? If typing is not working for you, carry your phone, call me on WhatsApp or landline. I will not mute the what's it called, so that I can actually just give you the answer here. So you can either type your question in the chat box here or just call my line and ask the question. That's the small limitation we have with YouTube. But it comes with its own advantages also. If this was Zoom, would have logged in and logged out like 4 different times already. Recording would have been a pain in the ass. So there's no perfect woman anywhere. I was not talking about women. That was just an analogy to say that there's no perfect solution for webcasting and doing classes, whether Zoom or YouTube Live. I want to know the content of a script writing. Ovoke, wait. Eskisa. Judith, without you asking your question, I understand your question. Okay, like the antagonist. Ah, Ovoke, it's not this class that you will know it to. Oh, far, oh, ti lo far, far. Okay, so let me rewind a little. While I'm waiting for other questions, I'm talking about characters. There are different kinds of characters. You have the protagonist and the antagonist. Those are two of the major characters. The protagonist is the good guy. The antagonist is the person who stands in opposition or as an obstacle to the protagonist. Okay? So when I said a story is about someone trying to do something and he has a goal and an obstacle stands in his way, essentially I'm talking about there's a protagonist who has something he wants to do with his life and an antagonist wants to stop him on that journey of achieving his goal. Something like that. Of course, it's deeper than that, but then like surface level, yes. I if I explain more than that, it will derail the class as it is and the goal we're trying to achieve. I'm still waiting for your questions. If there are no questions, type it, say no questions, so that I will know and we can move forward. I'm still going to drop this document. Where is it? I'm going to drop this document in our WhatsApp group so that you have access to it. You can have it as some form of reference other than the class itself, which would also be uploaded. Okay. So develop episode outlines, episode guide, create a brief outline for each episode in the season, identify key plot points, ensure each episode explores a theme related to the overall series. All of these are very valid. So you will use this in collaboration with what we have discussed. Then write episode scripts. The right to use it in write use proper screenplay format, write natural and engaging dialogue, and maintain a good pace, balancing dialogue, action, and exposition. Then revise. Share your script with peers, mentors, or a writers group for feedback. Make necessary revisions based on the feedback to improve what you've written. Create a show Bible. Compile all the information about your show, including character profiles, world building details, episode summaries, and arcs. Yeah. Use the show Bible as a reference for consistency and to help guide future episodes. Then pitching your show. Prepare a pitch document. That's the job of the producer, not the job of the script writer. Yeah. Production considerations, budget. This should be at the top, not down. Logistics. And then have a promotion strategy and all. So all of this, I'll drop this in the WhatsApp group. That's how to write a web series. And then let's get to prepare for how to write a feature. Let me see. Any questions? None for now. Babatunde Adeniro, can the character be an antagonist as well as a protagonist? Ah, sir, can you point me to where I can read something of such? I'm curious. Or a script with those headings. Oh, okay, we will talk. Okay, we will talk. I I'll give you a link to the previous classes we've done. By the time you watch one or two videos, you should be able to be up to speed. Yes, let me come back to Babatunde Adeniran. Yes and no. A character cannot be an antagonist and a protagonist, not at the same time, but it could switch. Your character could be a good guy at the beginning, and by the end of the film, we realize he was actually the bad guy all along. So he is still the antagonist. He was just pretending, and we thought he was the protagonist all along. But he is still the antagonist. Okay? Now, there are some guys called anti heroes. Of course, another word for protagonist is the hero of your story. Yet, there are some guys called anti heroes, meaning he has elements of a hero, yet he also has elements of a villain. An example of a good anti hero is Deadpool. Why? It is a unwritten code amongst heroes that you don't kill the bad guy. Arrest him, prosecute him, commit him to a mental institution, but we don't kill. Deadpool no dey send though. Deadpool will kill. And he therefore is despised by other heroes because he kills. His methods are not always pure, but his heart is in the right place. His heart being in the right place is what makes him a hero. His methods is what makes him a villain. He is an anti-hero. Judith, like a rebirth story. Yes, something like that. By the way, another word for rebirth is coming of age. So should you have read something and they talk about a coming of age story, is the same thing as a rebirth story. Okay, people of God, should we go? Hey, my food don't cold though, Jesus. Ah, should we go to how to write a feature now? People of God. Because I can't even threaten you with certificates anymore. Ovoke can testify in our class. If you are doing ITK too much, I will just give you certificates, graduate you, they go your house. But you, all of you, now don't collect certificate already. So I can't use certificate to bobo you again. I can't threaten you with, I will give you certificate. So now don't collect them already. You are pre-graduate graduates. All right, so let's start with how to write a feature. I'm assuming that we've all gotten the concept of how to write a web series. Yeah. By the way, I did mention to us that there are several writing assignments we will do subsequently. I'll bring those up. I'll let you know how those will fly. Yeah. And the web series is one of the things you will be expected to write. I'm assuming you now know how to do that. The number of us in class is reducing. I don't know why. Can somebody go and wake all of the people that are sleeping? Tell them to come, wake up, and turn on their YouTube. Let's finish this class together. By the way, if you're in class, there's 14 participants in class and only 11. Okay, now 12 people have liked this video. The remaining two of you, if you're in class and you have not liked the video, oh yeah, click on the like button. Click on the like button. Thank you very much. You want to turn me to YouTuber, please subscribe, click on the like button, and click on the notification bell so that you do not miss any video when it comes out. All right, so how to write a feature. All right, magnific. You've gotten the idea of a web series. Good. You have also gotten that our thing in your WhatsApp, Abby. All right. Now, writing your first feature length film can be a little complex, but a highly rewarding process. Here is a step by step guide to help you navigate through each essential element. Number one, develop your theme. Like I said earlier, if you don't have something to say, don't bother going to write. It's just a waste of time. You must have something to say. I also indicated that having that stuff you have to say is what we call the theme of your film. So, first assignment I'm giving to us tonight, I want you to come up with, now, don't research. This is not a Google something, it's a personal something. I want you to sit down and look around you and look at topics you're interested in, subject matters you want to speak to. Now, I know that what I'm about to say is going to conflict with what I have said earlier. I just hope that those who heard that one, they are still in class to hear what I'm about to say now. Mr. Alex, are you there? Okay. So, first assignment I want to give us, pick a pen immediately after this class, and I want you to write 5, or if it is possible, 10 subject matters that means a lot to you. Okay. Write about things, as in, for example, you can live in a community where unemployment, you've seen the adverse effects of unemployment. And if you have a voice, all right, sir, Mr. Alex, and if you have a voice, you'd want to scream it that give these people jobs so that they stop becoming nuisances. Do you know that is a message? That is a theme. So the question is, what is strong on your heart? What is that message you wish you could preach, say to someone, something you wish you could tell somebody? For example, I hope I don't get cancelled, but I'm going to do a lot of stuff about single mothers. My goal is to help young ladies make sure that they don't become single mothers. No matter what society is preaching to you, avoid it at all costs. It's a very, very, very bad place to be. If you're a single mother already, well, there's nothing anybody can do about it. Just like some people are divorced and there's nothing they can do about it. Let them take their L. I've just taken mine like that. Okay. Um, but for those who are not in that mess right now, somebody needs to tell them that Oju Ogun Leo. Oh, one of your interests, parenting. Good. Okay. So I've been personal now. Let me share a little. I've been separated for about 7 years now. I moved back to Lagos some 3 years after. So I've been in Lagos for like 4 or 5 years. And when I got to Lagos, I tried the dating scene. It was one. It was even easy. It wasn't easy to meet people. And somebody recommended Tinder, so I got on Tinder, hoping that I would meet some sensible people. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Now Olosho food here, so I ran away. I ran for my dear life. Okay, and then I in passing I saw a Facebook group about single mothers and single fathers dating. Okay, what's here? So I enter, and my world view changed. I've joined several of such groups, and this is the general picture. No man wants to father another man's children. So single mothers have to manage men who just want to sleep with them, as in they are just for entertainment and recreational purpose. Most single mothers are just for recreational use by men. They know that they are aching for somebody in their lives, they pose as somebody who is serious, who means business, they do, they are done, they japa next, and the cycle continues. If you see the venom and the hatred and the vitriol poured out from these single mothers in these groups of how men have showed them shaggy, you will not wish it upon your enemy. And it's not one group, it's not 10. I've been in several, okay, and then I've met single mothers in real life, like physically around me and all of that. And I can attest to it. There is a mad, mad, mad world out there. So if you're a woman, you're married to a man, is misbehaving, find a way, manage. Manage. It is still better to manage with one man than to now be the public use for different men. You will say, who told you that I cannot hold body? Well, you can hold body until you realize that your kids need something, and there are enough men who are willing to help you out of that ditch. If only you will drop. And there will come a time when the need will be pressing and you just decide to give in to one of them. And you give in, and he looks like a good man, and he helps out from that financial situation. But of course, when it's done, the japa. The next time there is a need, you will not think of it too hard before you farms with another man who will help you out of that financial situation, and he too will japa. By the time you've done 5 or 7 of such, you too, you just get used to the idea, and you just manage. Anyways, I said all of that to say this. Now, this is something I have seen. This is something I would want to speak to, such that single ladies who are not married or those who are already married, they can see a reason to find a way to make their marriages work. Okay? Because society today is preaching more any problem from that place. Come on, Jadanu, leave that man alone. Ah! ìyá ń bẹ fọ́mọ tí ò gbọ́n. Anyways, enough. I think I've done enough on that road. But back to the class. Now, what I just said about you finding areas of your passion, areas you have interest, and writing, like I said, don't write unless you have something to say. But now the same me talk say nobody cares about your passion. No, who remembered when I said it about an hour ago? And I was ranting. I was really, really, really vibing. Like, don't write well your passion. No. What if I told you that the two of them can both be correct at the same time? Let me explain. When you're a budding writer, you're just starting on your journey. Nobody cares about what you have to say. Yes, that's a fact. So you must find people who have something to say and help them say what they want to say. Your job. And your goal is to grow. When you grow to a certain extent, we start asking you, do you have any scripts? What do you want to say? Essentially, we're asking you, do you have something to say? Let me see what you have to say. At that point, a producer will be interested in scripts you write because now you write them. At that point, you can pitch what you have written, what you have a passion to say. You don't do that when you're just growing, when you're just starting off, when you're trying to make ends meet, when you're trying to eke a living from the 25K, 50K job where they want to give you. Are we on the same page? Do you see how what I said at first does not conflict with what I'm saying now? And if you don't start developing, writing what you want to say now, by the time you grow, you will forget. Like the cares of this life will snuff out passion from you once you start making money. So while you're writing for the producer, what the producer wants to say, also develop writing for yourself, for your archive, what you want to say. there will come a time when those things will make sense and you can push it. You now have a platform to push what you have to say. Ṣó ti yé wa? Do we get it? Yes, while I'm waiting for your response, if you've gotten that or not. Madam Bisola, I've seen your response. You're welcome. Been a while. Okay. Mr. Alex, thank you for the response. Otiyewa. All right. So let's finish up how to write a feature. Number one, have something you want to say, whether it is your own say or what the producer has told you to say, but you must have something you want to say. Okay. Goal, understand what you want to say with your film. Reflect on your message. What is the central idea or moral of your story? Keep it consistent. Ensure your theme is woven throughout the script. Okay. Examples. Themes can be broad, e.g., love conquers all, or it can be specific, the impact of technology on human relationships. Next, determine your budget. Are we still seeing my screen? I hope so. Yes. Okay. Next, determine your budget. Know your financial limitations to guide your script writing. In this case, the financial limitations of the producer who you intend to write for or sell your script to. Consider location, special effects, the size of the cast, meaning the number of actors that will be used, and props. You don't want to write a film that requires 24 actors or write a film that's going to need a crowd, 200 people. Who wants to pay? Do you know that they pay extras anywhere between 8K to 10K to 15K or maybe more per day on a film set? So let's say it's an average of 10K and your script requires 200 people. Extra of 200 at 10K per day, how much is that? 2 million. You yourself, when you write the script, how much did they pay you for the script? Mr. Man pay you 25K for script. You are writing script that you will need 2 million for extras. Extras or not main actors o. You dey play. Na you go shoot your film by yourself. Are we getting this? Okay, so consider all of this. Yeah, so craft a story that can be realistically produced within the budget of the producer. Number three, step three, choose your genre and audience. Define the story, the type of story, and who it is for. Genres include comedy, drama, horror, thriller, etc. Okay, and then what's the target audience? Their interests, the demographics, and then let's move to characters. All of these are things we've spoken about in class before. I've just chosen to, make it look like a textbook-ish kind of thing. Let me make that list so that this list does not confuse us. The list I am discussing here goes thus. Number one, what are you trying to say, your theme? Number two, genre. Number three, um, who are you writing for? Your target audience. Number four, you should have strong characters, round, dynamic characters. Number five, your goal. The goal of your character should be clearly stated. Number six, obstacle. What obstacle stands in their way? Number seven, conflict. Conflict is the lifeblood of story. Number eight, stakes. What is at stake? What is the consequence? If your main character, who is trying to get a goal and has an obstacle in his way, if he fails to overcome the obstacle, what is the consequence of his failure? That is what we call stakes. What is at stake if he fails? Is it that the world is going to end? Most superhero films, the stakes is the world. If something happens, this person will destroy the world. So he has to stop this guy from destroying the world. The stake is if he fails, the world will get destroyed, or US will get bombed, or this person will die, or one thing, one thing, one thing, one thing. That is the stake. And then you have urgency and time attached to it. That is essentially, see, all of the grammar I'm about to show you in the notes, that is essentially what I am discussing. So if you take that checklist and you go through it step by step, you would have a rough skeleton of a story that can work. Are we following this? If you follow all of those 7, 8 checklists I just made, from budget, what do you have to say? Budget, genre, strong character, the clearly defined goal, obstacle, conflict, stakes, and time and urgency. By the time you shape all of that, you have some story. It is not yet a film, but it is a story that can be made into a film. It has all the elements that makes for a good story, which brings us to part 2. The only bit we've not discussed as it concerns writing a feature film. Everything we've learned before now can be used to write a feature film, except for one bit of information, which is the beat sheet. So let me scroll to that bit of the document. So everything else I've talked about: create dynamic characters, what is their goal, your character should have a character arc, all of the, then define the goal, establish obstacles and conflicts, set the stakes, highlight what is at risk if the protagonist fails, what's the consequence, which is what gives your character motivation, create urgency based on time, infuse your story with a sense of urgency, time constraints, and raising the stakes, yeah, and develop a satisfying resolution. Conclude your story in a way that resolves the central conflict and aligns with the theme. If you paid attention to all of this, if you do all of this as I have said, um, what am I saying? If you do all of this, you would have a story that makes sense on your hands. Which brings us to um, step 10, outline with a beat sheet. An example of a beat sheet is Blake Snyder's beat sheet. Who, excuse me, is there anybody here who knows about the Blake Snyder's beat sheet? Anybody? Hellos? Hello? I'm not on the phone. Oh, I'm talking to us. I said, is there anybody here who knows about the Blake Snyder beat sheet? Anybody? Okay, I don't, but I do use beat sheets to write. Okay, magnific. So illuminate us. What beat sheet do you use? I will not be surprised if it is the same beat sheet, but you just didn't know that it's the same beat sheet. Is there a name for the one you use, or what are the specific beats in the story? While you're answering that question, on the screen is the Blake Snyder's beat sheet. Okay. Now the idea is this. Okay, media tricks. Okay. Now the idea of the beat sheet is this. Some individuals have sat down to analyze great films, and they've seen certain similarities, things that tend to happen at certain specific points in every story, every major film that has been a blockbuster. They have therefore put it down on paper and codified it into what is called a beat sheet, meaning we've seen these great films. At certain points, these different things happen in those films. If you also make sure that those things happen in your films, you would have a blockbuster. That is where the idea of a beat sheet comes from. So here is the most popular beat sheet in the world, the Blake Snyder beat sheet. Yeah, let's go through it together. Like I said, the first part of the writing a feature class was the specific things I said. If you follow it, you would have a story. Okay, all right, magnific, noticed, noted. Yeah. So if you follow the structure I gave us at first, you would have a story on your hands. However, a story and a plot are two different things. It's one thing to have a story that makes sense. It's another thing to know how to plot that story in a way that will be engaging for the audience to sit down and watch it from beginning to the end. That is where a beat sheet comes into play. It helps you structure your story so that it looks familiar to the human brain and they can resonate with what you have written. So let's go through this. Step one, opening image. A visual that represents the tone and theme of the story. Step two, the setup. Introduce the protagonist, their world, and the theme. Step three, the catalyst. The event that sets the story in motion. I'll come to explain all of this with an example. Just follow. Step four, the debate. The protagonist faces a dilemma and must make a choice. Step five, break into two. The protagonist commits to the journey, meaning is going to go on a journey. Step six, B story. A secondary plot line that supports the main story. Step seven, fun and games. The heart of the movie, where the protagonist faces, I can't see what's here, challenges. Step eight, midpoint. A significant that changes the direction of the story. Step 9, bad guys closing. Things start to go wrong for the protagonist. Step 10, all is lost. The protagonist hits rock bottom. Step, I don't even know the number again. Step, I don't know, is it 13 or 14? The protagonist finds, that's break into 3. The protagonist finds a solution and prepares for the final act, finale. The protagonist faces the ultimate challenge. And the last step, final image, a visual that shows the change in the protagonist and their world. Let's start from step 16, the final step, the final image. What is the final image? A visual that shows the change in the protagonist and the change in their world. I don't know if you just saw that. What does it mean? Remember our character's arc? Yeah? This is the culmination of the character's arc. I'm wondering, can we? Let me try. Let me try. This is the culmination of the character's arc, where all the things, remember, I said that your character should be round and dynamic, meaning that they change, meaning that they have an arc, meaning that we say that at the beginning, let's use Femi for example. I said at the beginning, Femi is an irresponsible husband. By the end, he has come to the place of realizing that he can be better than this. He cleans up himself and he starts behaving like a sensible husband. That is Femi's arc. He is a dynamic character who has changed. He is also a round character because we know the reason why he changes. Something specific happened to him that changed his world view. So let's go back. The first part of this is the opening image. The last is the final image. The two of them, opening image and final image, speaks to your main character. The opening image shows us Femi when he's an irresponsible man. The final image shows us Femi when he has cleaned up and he has now become a responsible man. That is what your film is about, that arc. Hello? Do we get that initial bit of the arc? Your character should change. The opening image shows us what your character looks like at the beginning. The final image shows us the change that has happened in your character and his new state of mind, his new state of being, the new state of his environment and his surroundings. Shoyewa. Ah, our neko. Now you could tie the opening image and the setup. They are more or less the same thing. You notice that the setup says introduce the protagonist, their world, and the theme. Okay. How many people are still in this class? YouTube is telling me 13, but I'm feeling like there are just 4 people in this class. Other than Bisola, Judith, Judy or Shadari, Mediatrix, Mr. Alex, and Ovoke. Who else is in this class? Okay, there's Magnific also. After those 5 people, who else is in this class? If you're in this class and I didn't mention your name, let me know. Shino Rodile. Oh, you are always a backbencher. I remember. I remember. Okay, it's good to know that you are there. Forgive me. Forgive me. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's move on. So the way this thing works is this. Let me explain um the bit sheet. Nah. You know what I'm going to do? I'll drop a document in the group. This one, and I'll drop a supplement document that explains the bit sheet in simple English. Yeah. If we have questions, let us ask after we've consumed all of those materials. I'm looking at this is 10. I don't know how we're going to finish up the bit sheet part of this class. I don't know. I know that where I have explained it to, I know that most of us get it, but it is that extra, and the extra is the most important part. Olo, okay? Explaining it, I probably won't do justice to it in 10, 15, 20 minutes. So let me do that way. I'll post this document in the group now, and then I'll post an addendum, something that explains the bit sheet, such that if you now don't get it, you can reach out and I will walk you through how the bit sheet applies. If you agree to that, please type something. I agree, thumbs up, something, so that we can all be on the same page. We can wrap up today's class and then move forward from here. Hello? Hello? Nobody has typed anything. Okay, please explain it now in the little way you can. Okay? Let me try again. So, the concept of a feature length film is this: you have a character who, at the beginning, is in a certain frame of mind. They live their lives in a certain way. That is their initial state. I think in one of our classes, I've used this film as an example. Um, Real Deal, this Hugh Jackman film that I said was a boxer, retired boxer, but nobody boxes in real life anymore. They use robots as boxing. There's this son. He didn't know he had a son. The mother, he just had a fling with the girlfriend. She got pregnant. He didn't know. Left the town. The girlfriend raised the boy. He's 10 years old now. She has died, and parenting passes to him automatically. So he gets someone to come and pick the boy. The boy's grandparents, meaning the parents of the mom, wants to keep the boy because they've grown a bond with him. Our Mr. Man here is broke. And then these people offer him money, like, let's pay you off, leave the boy for us. He agrees. However, court says that they must spend some time together, even if he's going to leave the boy. The time they spent together, him and the boy now bonded. So many things happened along the way. Him and the boy, they bond, such that when it now comes to the point of he should give the boy away and collect money, Mr. Man is now reluctant to. He ends up giving back the money and taking his son. He does not release the son to the grandparents again because him and his son, they've bonded, and that starts a new chapter in his life. Now, let me use that story to explain the beat sheet. So, we see him, Forex Profit Magic. Okay, this is new. I've not seen your name. We are here. Eh? Since when? All right. It's good to know that you are there, though. Thank you very much. We appreciate your presence. Okay, so back to the story. So at the beginning, we meet our guy, a retired boxer who is past his glorious days, is broke and in debt, and is running away. Opening image and setup where we introduce our protagonist, his world, and the theme. Okay. Next, the catalyst, the event that sets the story in motion. He loses a bet. They want to collect the money. He wants to run away, and somebody tells him that you have a son in so and so city. Come and claim him. That is the catalyst for him to leave that place where he was and go to New York, where the son is. And that is how we started the journey. The catalyst, he is running away from his debt, is the catalyst that gets him to go on the journey of self-discovery, or is it joint discovery now with his son, who he ends up bonding with. If he did not owe that much money, if he was not in debt and they were pursuing him, he would not have gone on that journey to New York, where he now meets with his boy and they bond. That is how that incident is the catalyst. If we were talking about a 3-act structure, that would be the plot point 1. The plot point after Act 1 that gets us started into Act 2, which is break into 2. Act 2 begins. The protagonist commits to the journey. Now, in this case, there are 2 journeys. Journey number 1, the physical journey to go to New York. Journey number 2, the psychological journey to bond with the boy. So the catalyst was the first journey. He left wherever he was to go to New York. The debate, do I want to bond with this boy, or rather, do I want to go on a journey with this boy in the first instance? I don't think so. But if you're going to get the money, you're going to have to spend some time with the boy. That is how it breaks into 2. The protagonist commits to the journey. Are we following this? All right, then the B story, secondary plot line that supports the main story. The secondary plot line is he also has this new girlfriend who he's been dating, and they've broken out, they've fallen apart because of this is over gambling. No, she loves him, she wants to be there for him, but his attitude is keeping her away. So when he starts bonding with his boy and they start using robots to fight, she starts supporting him from afar. B story, the secondary story. Where are we? Yeah, the B story. So that's the B story. Midpoint. Midpoint is the point where this is specific to the boxing thing, where he chooses to train the robot that they were using to fight, and they were to go fight another robot. Okay, the midpoint is a significant event that changes the direction of the story. That is when their robot got a chance to fight in the finals. All is lost. The fight of their life, they nearly denied them of that fight. The robot was damaged. They had to go fix the robot. That's the all is lost. Okay, things start going wrong and then all is lost. The protagonist hits rock bottom, then break into three. The protagonist finds a solution and prepares for the final act. They finally get in the ring with the current champion of the robot boxing match with their own yama yama robots. Okay, and then they get to the finale, the ultimate showdown between these two robots. They fight, their own robot wins, but again there are two finales. Number one is the robot fight, their robot wins. Number two is he going to take the money and ditch his boy, or is he going to take his boy and forfeit the money? That was the second battle he had to fight in the finale. He ended up choosing his boy over the money. And then the final image that shows us the change in the protagonist and his world. Now he has become a responsible father. They have won money from the boxing match that they won. He's no longer broke. He's now different from where he started. All of the stuff that happened to him from the beginning has changed him and caused him to go through an arc that sets him up for change, which is why the opening image and the final image are now two opposites. Irresponsible man who didn't even know he has a son, responsible father who has bonded with his son, broke idiots gambling up and down, rich, sensible idiot still has made some money. Him and his girlfriend, they are broken up at the beginning. I mean, the current girlfriend. Girlfriend now sees that his head is correct. She has come back to him. Contrast between opening image and final image. And there we have it. At least an initial explanation of the beat sheet and how to use it to tell a story. So, number one, is it clear? Number two, do we have any questions? And then number three, can we go home? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's have some responses so that we know what to do. This is 10, 12 minutes past 10. Hello, is there anybody in this class? Or has Magnific herself retired for the night? Am I talking to myself? Okay, it seems I'm the only one in this group, in this chat, in this class. Thank you guys very much for coming tonight. I had fun all the way. I hope we've learned we can go. Thank you very much, Mediatrix. Okay. Magnific. Thank you very much. I see that you understand now. Shino Rudele, please, we need a complete what the a complete lesson notes we can always refer to. Yes, I'm working on that. We will get that. Mr. Alex, okay. Thank you to know that it's good to know that you're there. Okay. So with this, we officially bring our class and our training to a close. Um, Yes, I will make a comprehensive lesson note available to us that would include all of the stuff we've done in class up until now. Yeah, just a minute, please. Okay. Yeah, so I'll be sure to finish up on the manual, the class manual, the lesson notes. I'll publish it into the group. If there are any questions, I'll let us know. And concerning our graduation, I think we should just keep it virtual. We'll do that on Friday. Yeah. Wait. I said it will be physical. Those who can come. All right. I'll ask in the group. I'll just do a poll. I'll do a poll in the group to find out if some of us wants to do physical or if we should just keep everything virtual. I'll do that during the course of the week, and then we'll know how to move forward. Our writing assignments, I would also post them in the group. So thank you guys very much for coming out tonight. It was a pleasure having you. No physical, noted. Noted. But I will still do a poll in the group to see if up to 10 to 20 people indicate that they want to come and do physical. We will do hybrid. It will be physical, but we'll be streaming it. So those of us who want to do virtual, we can connect. Wait, who said no physical now? Magnific said no physical. Mediatrix says, um, it's the same Magnific that says no physical. Oh, you mean no physical? Oh, there's a full stop after no. I get it now. I want physical. I don't go buy shoe. Noted, Magnific. Me too. I want physical. Yes. So, lastly, can I infer that every series is a feature-length film broken down into series? Well, that's one way to look at it, Mr. Alex. Although that will not be doing justice to what a series is, but it's one way to look at it. But a series is what a film cannot be. The things a series can do, a film cannot do. The subject matter that a series can address, a film cannot address it. Why? Because most films are limited in time. Whereas a series can be 60 minutes, 10 episodes of 60 minutes. That's 600 minutes. You get it? I won't wear graduation gown. Oh. Yes, it will be nice to wear graduation gown. I hope I've answered you, Mr. Alex. So I'll post the poll in the group. Thank you very much for coming tonight. It was a pleasure being your instructor and your coach on this script writing journey. I appreciate every minute spent with you. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll post details of our graduation and the course manual in the group and our writing assignments too. All right. So see you guys soon. Peace. I'm out. All right, magnific. Thank you too. We will do physical. Mr. Shino Rodele, thank you. It's a pleasure. Judy or Shadari, thank you for coming. It's a pleasure. Mr. Alex, thank you too, sir. All right, good night, everybody. Au revoir.